Looks like we might have saved the big Australia sign from Expo 88. It's been at Shaftesbury College, but seems to be no longer loved or wanted. Here's Foundation Expo's Peter Racy on 612 Breakfast last week.
Campbell Newman gets selected. I think we'll go to South Bank, knowing that they're going to say no, because their model's moved on.
It would look great outside the ABC
no, they're just
building
huge. It would make it look ridiculous. So they are just monstrous.
What, the height of this building?
9 metres high. And they are just, they are large. They need an open space. I then went to Goma because they have a little bit of space down here, but their space is dedicated to the Asian Pacific Triangle, and that's fair enough. I then went to the Brisbane City Council, and the Lord Mayor has got lots on his agenda and just couldn't fit it in, and I understood that. I then went down to the Australian Museum, and yes, we would love it, fantastic, but we don't own any land. We'll have to go to the ACT government. Oh no, they're visual pollution. You can't have them on the foreshore of Lake Burley Griffith. That went down the Google. Then I thought, well, yesterday, the Stockman Hall of Fame, 25 years anniversary for it. The Queen was out there, flew down here, opened up Expo. I thought, well, that would be also a good place for them to go. They've got plenty of space. I drove out there, had a talk to the general manager, got good enthusiastic response. They went and had a look at their charter and their funding model from the federal government. No.
Long story short, you still don't have a home for it.
Nope.
Peter Racy on Breakfast last week. Well, Jeff Ramsey was listening to that conversation. Morning, Jeff.
G'day, Spencer. How are you?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words, by the way, on Peter Racy's YouTube video that he posted on the weekend, saying you basically didn't know there were any other stations other than 612. Thank you. What are you able to offer?
Well, we've got about 200 acres on the highest hill between Brisbane and Toowoomba, and we're prepared to, subject to a number of things, to give the land to put the sign on, which you could see probably from the highway at HB. I'd want to be convinced that I'd like to donate it actually to the council, but I'd like to be convinced that I'm not giving them a fox to put in their chook house, that it won't rust or decay, and that I'm going to incur a lot of costs. So providing that all the costs are taken care of, I think it's a good possibility.
So that would be, so that's land sorted, but as you suggest, there is the ongoing upkeep. You don't want it to end up, as it apparently is at the moment, unloved and with just overgrown vegetation around it. So who would you see looking after it? Would it be council? And if so, which council? Whereabouts are you exactly? Is it Somerset Council?
Yeah, Somerset Council. Graham Lehman's the mayor there. Well, I don't think the council would want to be incur a lot of costs in it. We want to solve the rust problem in it at the moment and ensure that there are not huge costs involved in the Somerset Council, but it'll be, I think when they ask where is Australia, we say it's in the Somerset Council.
Yes. And do you say that it's visible from the road? How far from the road are you?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 kilometres. The wastewater from the Brisbane City Council is controlled from that same position, and also River 949, the Ipswich radio station, have their power on that hill. The state government bought land to control the wastewater, so it's the highest hill and it's an ideal spot and visual for a long way back.
All right, so you do know of one other radio station because they have their transmitter on your land. How about that? That's funny. You don't listen to them. and it's, I guess it's a bit like the Hollywood sign then, isn't it? Because that's up on a hill.
Yes, I've been there many times to Hollywood, and I understand there's bigger figures, the Hollywood sign, but these are 9 metres high, so they would stand out from a long distance. And
would they need lighting? Would they need lighting?
I believe that they would need lighting, and there is electricity connected to all of the other things on the hill, so it wouldn't be a problem, and it wouldn't incur, impose a burden on any of the neighbours, because the neighbours are a long way away.
So are you now going to take this up with council, or is Peter Racy doing that?
Oh, well, I think I've done my bit. I think it's up to Peter Racy, but I'll speak with the Mayor, Graham Lehman, who's very progressive and a capable guy, but I think it's up to others to convince the council that wouldn't be a lot of costs involved, and it would be a good promotion both for the Somerset Council and Queensland.
All right, Jeff. Well, keep us updated. I'm sure Peter certainly will. Thanks for putting your hand up, and thanks for listening. It goes to show what a couple of minutes on the radio can achieve.
Nice to talk to you, Spencer.
Good on you, Jeff. Well, let's go to Peter Racy briefly. Peter, this is a huge step forward, but obviously there's still a bit of work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done, but I've out of the blocks. I've contacted Christian Wade from Shaftesbury College, and he's going to be looking very sympathetically at releasing the signs. Secondly, we have been down this path once before with the Woodford Folk Festival people, so I've just got to go back to Universal Cranes, who are offering to crane them on the trucks and move them, and to Albert Smith Sign Company, who are going to restore them, and hopefully a large number of those problems that Jeff identified can be solved. And as far as the ongoing maintenance of us goes, I think on a windy hill that it is, that the current rust problem was caused by leaf litter build-up, and there's no way known to me they're ever going to get any leaves and able to stay on the sign for about 5 seconds. So the rust problem hopefully will be not an issue. Certainly the ongoing maintenance of having them painted, but with today's modern paint, you're looking at a 12 to 15 year cycle, and hopefully the council will get its pound of flesh and mileage of promotion out of it, and the repainting of it won't be an issue to them.
Okay, it sounds like someone needs to approach council, though, and Jeff appears to have thrown the ball back to you, so you're going to do that now?
I'm sure between the both of us and a little bit of airtime this morning that there'll be a good incentive for the council to be actually phoning us a bit.
All right. Okay, Peter, will you keep us updated?
Thanks very much.
Peter Racy from Foundation Expo. If you have a thought, by the way, on the if you drive the road between Brisbane and Toowoomba, if you know where the River 949 transmitter site is up on the hill there, what do you reckon as a location for the Australia sign? Give us a call, let us know, and it is one step forward. Maybe there's somewhere else. Mostly people last week when we talked about this, the biggest suggestion we had was Brisbane Airport, on the side of one of the roads at Brisbane Airport. Is it Moreton Drive and Airport Drive, the two main roads that go west-east at Brisbane Airport? That makes a lot of sense to me. But I guess ultimately the airport has to hand over the land, someone has to look after them, someone has to move them. So if you have any ideas, by all means come forward, and we'll pass your thoughts on to Peter Racy at Foundation Left Field, or Silly Bit Off, or Cow's Corner, whatever the Australian equivalent is. Morning, Chris O'Brien. Wayne from Burpengary, hello.
G'day, Mayor, how are you?
G'day, Wayne, very well, thank you.
I used to live at Bracken Ridge, and we bought land, well, I say we, I was a Brisbane ratepayer at the time, at Deepwater Bend, which you call Kitchentara, or pronounce it something like that.
Right.
Recently you put two enormous big signs up there, which you get paid for advertising. Why can't, and it's right on the highway, I mean, it's 20 metres off the highway, why can't we shove our Expo sign on there so the whole world can see? That's Highway 1.
Okay, so this is the big Australia sign from the Australian Pavilion. There's no home for it at the moment. It looks like it's going to go to Somerset Council if Brisbane can't find a spot for it. This is your friend Peter Racy. You know Peter's campaign to get the sign put somewhere.
I do indeed.
Can't we save the sign for Brisbane somewhere, Lord Mayor?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been doing this bits and pieces in terms of these Expo things. We relocated Gestation just the other day out of the Queen Street Mall. Look, happy to take it on board. Don't want to make a commitment on air to you, Wayne, but we can see what we can do with it. I don't know what the cost or the actual structure of that one is at the moment either, but we'll have a look at it.
I think if you found some land, I reckon everything else would be taken care of. That's what it sounds like. The transportation, everything sounds like it might be taken care of.
There might be a bit of in-kind backing for it.
Okay, finally, this email.
What was your thoughts the day before when the nerves were there on the house? Let me put it this way, we've been through a lot of gullies that were dry, not with the flood, and we had all the exhibitors, all the countries in, we had the gates ready to open, we had a man on the staff, the CDO, a man named Bob Minigan, who I feel should get more credit than he has got, because he was the one that rolled his sleeves up and made it all happen. Now, so therefore I was reasonably confident that when the doors opened, it was going to be satisfactory. But